So poor Dan, he's a professional singer. That's my husband here. He had like a contract for 3 months where the poor guy had to sing and stay in Detroit. So he'll call, how's everything? I'm like, baby, really? I don't know what they're saying about Detroit, about Florida. It's not all that. I could not tell him that it was so beautiful, that this was the sunshine state. I would call up to Detroit and go, you know what? The sun is shining. This is February. I didn't know what that meant. Because in Detroit, it was like very dreary all the time. I'm like, the sun is shining. I call them back and go like, can you believe? They're like, Barb, you are in the Sunshine State. I'm like, oh yeah, I am. So it has been a pleasure to be here. We've been here, like I said, since 2001. But I started my banking career as a part-time teller, worked up to, bank manager. Now I'm a vice president, went to bank, and did all that without a college degree. So I would encourage everybody, please get a college degree now because you would need it. But, I worked hard, got to where I was. So when we relocated down here, worked at different banks. The last bank I was at, I was there for 13 years. Top producer, winning all these awards, going all these places. April the 9th, 2015, they let me go. I had made it through, I think it was, 4 mergers, and I made it through all the mergers. And in my 25 years at that time, I had gone through 8 mergers, and every merger, I got promoted. Even that bank, I got promoted 3 times with that bank. So when they was going through the mergers, I was like, man, I made it. Because I didn't get let go in December of 2014. So I was like, oh, thank you, Lord, I made it. But then April came. They were trying to keep me the first quarter, corporate. What do you do? And unfortunately, they closed down my department in Southwest Florida. So for a moment, I was truly an entrepreneur. So I talked to my husband. I was like, okay, Dan, what should we do now? And he's like, are you kidding? All the people that you know, start your own business. So I said, okay. So we started a consulting firm, and we still have it. And I loved it, But for 6 months, I did not take it to where Dan has. Dan has always been an entrepreneur and knows how to, eat, sleep, and breathe, being an entrepreneur. That wasn't me. So for 6 months, I enjoyed it, but I was that lady of leisure. I was like, man, for 25 years, I've been doing this banking thing. I sort of enjoyed the break. I'm like, man, okay, I like this. But when you're a true entrepreneur, which all of you know about, and I commend you for doing what you're doing, it is very difficult. When I was out there for those 6 months, and it was like from April until November, when the bank called me back, I had a lot of offers. When the bank let me go, I had so many offers. Because like Dorothy I know a lot of people in town. I know all the bankers. I was the president of what they call Small Business Resource Network, which we work with the Small Business Development Center. So my job is educating and mentoring small businesses. So I knew all about how to mentor. I knew how to teach. I knew how to do that for other people. But when it came to myself, I'm like, you know what? It's very tough being an entrepreneur. So my little 6 months of being a true entrepreneur, we did okay. I mean, I had customers, I made sure I made the phone call. Dan is like, okay, you got to get up. And he said to me, just like you go to work for somebody else, you got to do it for yourself. But guess what? Like John said, when the bank said, hey, you got to take a customer out, we go to Capitol Grill, we go to, the most expensive restaurant, because I'm taking them out on the corporate card. When that card became my own, I'm like, all those networking events that I attend now and was attending before, it got expensive because those networking events was $25. It took $250 to join the group, and then every month you got to pay to eat. So I'm like, okay, it's a difference when, when John said, y'all start looking at the P&L and the balance sheet and all that. It's a difference when it comes out of your pocket. So Dan and I sat down, and Dan was like, no, keep doing it, you can do it. And I'm glad I had that encouragement. I hope all of you have that encouragement to where you have somebody that's going to encourage you to do better. And to say, keep going. Don't let this stop you. And like John said, it's not a failure. It's just a step forward. So you're not failing, you're just learning how to get better. You're going to learn how to do better, because we said it's not a failure, it's not a mistake. It is to help you grow. So what he learned from one job, he's probably able to do better in another job, because now he understands it better. And then what you have to do, sometimes you have to change. I mean, I never thought I'd move to Florida. Florida was the last thing on my mind. I love Detroit. I mean, I was born and raised in a small town. It was so small, you blink, you miss it. We had 2 red lights. I'm from Virginia. We had one to let you know you're in town, one to let you know you out. So the sign said, welcome to Blackstone, and you drove about 10 miles and it said, thank you for visiting Blackstone. So when I had a chance to move to Detroit, I had 3 college scholarships. And I called my mom, and I said, Mom, I love Detroit. 2 weeks. I was supposed to be up there to be a babysitter. 2 weeks turned to 14 years. I called my mother. I said, Mom, I'm not coming back home. She's like, what? She said, you got all these scholarships and, you know, what are you going to do? I said, I have no clue, but I went to Detroit in the summertime. So if you all know anything about Detroit in summertime, not only is it warm, but it's free festivals. Every singer, Cool in the Gang, at that time, the Gap Band, and got to see everybody for free. And then for $5, you could eat chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, bread, and then for $1 more, you got cake and soda. Come on, where can you go for $6 and get a full home-cooked meal like that? Come on. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm sorry, but I can't go. I cannot go back to Virginia, although I knew I was going to be probably a teacher. I said, you know, that's what I wanted to do when you're young. You said, what do you want to do? Everybody's a teacher. So in my hometown, you was either going to college, you was either going into the armed forces, or you was going to work. Nobody stayed home. There was no such thing as, you know, you got an 18-year or 20-year-old at home. Please, no way. That didn't happen, you know. Of course, in my town, too, we had 100% high school graduation. Now, the reason why we had 100% high school graduation is because the boys had to pick cotton or tobacco. So because nobody wanted to pick cotton or tobacco, everybody went to school. It was like, the guys couldn't wait to go to school because mainly it was the boys that had to do this. We had 100% graduation. All the boys would show up. It's like, man, they love school. No, not that they love school. They just didn't want to pick cotton and tobacco. Well, again, my school was very small. We only had like 300 people, and that was 9th through 12th grade. But we all knew we had a future. We didn't have to figure out what we're going to do, where we're going. You were going somewhere, but you know what you weren't going to do? Stay at home with your mom and dad. That didn't happen. So when I went to Detroit, the atmosphere was a little different. I didn't understand people not having jobs. But they didn't have jobs because they didn't want a job. At the time when I went up there, if you wanted to work, you had a place to work. Entrepreneurs, if you wanted to develop anything in Detroit back then, entrepreneurs was everywhere. Especially for the black community, please, everywhere you went, there was stores, banks. We owned everything. You know, so of course, come to Naples, it was totally different. So, you know, they're like, okay, coming from Detroit to Naples, Southwest Florida, it's a little bit different. But you fit in, you change, you do what you need to do better. And I commend you all that had your entrepreneur spirit. I like that. That's what we call it, Dress for Success. I like that because if you can't work for somebody else, you don't have to. Work for yourself. Find out what it is that you love to do. Is this not a job? It's your passion. It's your hobby. This is what you want to do. Make it fun because it's going to come times when you're not going to be able to pay the bills. I mean, as a banker, people come up to me all the time and go, I need a loan. And when John talked about cash flow, that's what the bank look at. You can have $1 million house with a ton of equity, but if you don't have cash flow or how you're going to pay that loan back, that bank is not going to give you a loan. Not like they did a few years ago. As long as you could breathe, you got a loan. That doesn't happen. Okay, that won't happen for a long time now because, as you all know, everything crashed. So you cannot get a signature loan anymore. You got to prove yourself. So as you all are starting up your business and you come to the bank and say, you know, I need a loan, we're going to sit down with you, but you got to know your business. And I know that's what you all been learning in class. You got to know your business. And knowing your business is marketing and banking, because those are the main things. If you're not marketing your business, how will people know about you? The internet, wonderful. Get on Facebook, LinkedIn, get on everything. You'll be amazed at how people pick you up. You know, people are like, they're like, Barb, I saw you on Facebook. I saw you here. I saw you. I mean, my biggest thing is Facebook. It's amazing when it's used the right way. When it's used the right way, Facebook can be your friend. Now, when it's used not the right way, Facebook can hurt you. LinkedIn, go to stuff like that. Network, it's a lot of stuff for free. Get your card out. Never leave home without your card. I have like a card in my pocket, and then in this pocket, I always get cards. And then follow up. You gotta follow up, because if you don't, That's one of the things that I found out moving to Florida. We had the worst customer service. And being in banking, it was awful. I'm like, come on, you know. In fact, one bank used to pay the tellers like $1 or whatever for customer service. Like every quarter you got money for customer service. That's crazy. I came from Virginia. If you didn't speak to the person, your mom would slap you. She would. I mean, I got hit one time. I said, Mom, I spoke. She go, well, I didn't hear you. I'm like, they heard me. You know, but it wasn't good enough. Because if you don't say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, you won't make it. I mean, truthfully, I am in a position where I am today because my customer service skills. I was working at Hardee's when the lady came to me and she was like, you know what? You're so nice. You're so friendly. She goes, would you like to be a teller? I'm like, what? I never, ever thought about going in banking. I love Hardee's. I had so much fun at Hardee's. I'm like, oh my God. I was living with the family because I went up there, remember, to be a babysitter. And I told them, I said, well, I want to stay. Well, now that I want to stay and lost my scholarship, I now had to decide on what I want to do. Of course, they were a doctor and a dentist, so they wanted me to go to school, which I should have been. I should be a PhD by the time, you know, all the classes I've taken. But I've been certified in everything. I had my insurance license, every time the bank said there was a training, oh, you better believe I signed up. I signed up for every training, every class. Now, to the bank, they thought I was signing up because I wanted to learn. Really, Dan and I had free vacation. It was like, where we going this time? Then we even say, don't y'all have some training coming up? I'm like, you know what, let me look on here and see. We're going to Fort Lauderdale. We're going to Miami. You know, we're going to Tampa. We're staying in the best hotel. You know, the bank gives you a voucher of food to eat. I was eating the best food. I mean, you know, I didn't get this way by looking at food. So I enjoyed myself. You know, I'm like, man, this is the best thing ever. So what I did, and I'll tell you, anytime you can get some training, some certification, I did everything. When I lost my job, I could have done mortgages, which I was going into. I could do investments because I had my license. I had my 663 life, health, and annuity. And guess what? The bank paid for everything. I am like the most certified person ever. And every time there was a new class, I signed up. I have just as many certificates on my wall with no college degree. But I got every certificate in the world. So you name it, if it has something that could help me, I signed up for it. So don't give up. If you see something in the paper, Goodwill have anything, go to class. Go to, because you know what's a shame is when I'm teaching and mentoring and there's 5 people in class. But yet everybody needs the knowledge. And a lot of stuff is free. So I'm saying, come on people, this is free. So when you look out and go like, wait a minute, this class is free, this is free, this is free. Why aren't you out there? People will only buy from people they know. Because if you have a product, you may have a great product, but if people don't know you, they're not gonna buy from you. You can have the best product in the world, but if you're not marketing that product, if you're not having your cards out there and then you're not following up, when people give you a card, when a person gives you a card that night, everybody have computers at home, go and send a thank you note. It was nice meeting you. When can we meet for coffee? Because guess what, people? You don't know who they know. I know a lot of people. It's like, man, I was sitting down. Dan and I had a birthday party. We had like over 200 people at our birthday party. I'm like, man, do we really know that many people? You know, and then like I'm at a new bank now, and every time my boss is out, he's like, Bart, as soon as I mention your name, everybody knows you. And I'm like, really? You know, it's shocking. You know, I mean, really, it is. Because remember, I came from Detroit, didn't know anybody. And now I can say I have hopefully a good name in the community because I'm out there. I learn, I network, I try to do as much as I can, but then I try to give back. Because it doesn't mean anything if you're making a ton of money and don't give back. You gotta have service. If you give your good quality customer service as well as service to your community, you'll be amazed at how much that comes back. People go like, Barb, I heard you with Dress for Success. I got a referral for you. I got $1 million client because someone heard about me. And that client came from New York. They were relocating down here. So it's a lot of stuff. Once you give back, you start training, you start learning, you'll be amazed at how things will just come back full force for you. So I commend you guys. Keep up the good work. Please take my card because I do follow up. You know, stay in touch with me. Like I said, it may be somebody you need to meet, somebody you need to know that if I can help, I will help. So thank you all again and have a good night.
I'm right here.
Picture.
So in appreciation for coming out tonight and giving such a great talk, we'd like to present you with a little certificate of appreciation. I just don't take a picture.
I know, don't have to break in the camera. Thank you.